around about 40 minutes, by which time I will have finished all my slides. This lecture, although it is on Blake, we will not be discussing too many of Blake's poems. In fact, no poems. But we will be looking at some of the ideas that Blake stood for, and that Blake propounded, and that Blake spoke about. And we will also be seeing how the other people from the fields of psychology, anthropology perhaps. I include anthropology because if you notice the title, Blake's Mystic Culture it is, and I've added an OC before, occult. So if time permits, we will also be looking into the occult aspects. And so if it gets boring in between, just raise your hands and I will know. And we will see what we can do about it. Are you all familiar with Blake, William Blake? I will not be referring to dates here. I will not be talking about this was the year in which he was born or this person died. These are material. We will just be discussing certain ideas. So I want you to be awake, stay awake, and work with me. Right? Slide. Can you see the... Yeah. Now, without talking about mysticism, we can't talk about Blake or Blake's poetry. Now, in this slide you will see a general description of what mysticism is about. Yoga Varada എന്നൊക്കെ ഒരു പക്ഷേ മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കും. Mysticism, Yoga Varada എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന സാധനം. Does anybody know what mysticism is? Can somebody raise your hand and just tell me what you think mysticism is, or who you think a mystic is? Of course, I provide some kind of answer there, but in your opinion, are there mystics here? Are there any mystics here? No, don't say no, because as we progress, you will see, after all, there are mystics among us. Who knows? You might be one yourself. But not to the extent of, not to the Blakean extent, or not to the extent of, shall we say, St. Francis of Assisi, or somebody else, or Kabir Das. But we all have this tendency within us, most of us. A study that was done by Washington University back in 2015, it says that it's only about 3% of the population in America that are not mystics, which means the rest of the population, 95 to 97% of the population, they are somewhere, they can find themselves somewhere in this long line of mystical experiences, different stages of mystical experiences. That's what we'll be looking at. So it's a concentration of the soul's energies. That's one way of looking at it, on something supernatural. But basically, it's the third point that I've written there: oneness with God or the other, where you don't see yourself as separate from the other. Now, this is not a political position that I'm talking about. This is a sense of identity that you develop with the other from deep within yourself. So deep within yourself that the ego, I hope you understand, ego, the self, absents itself. The self absents itself. It's not a political decision. You cannot take a decision to become a mystic. You should already have the mystic within you. You can only develop the mystical aspects. So what is this object or the other? It could be saints, it could be angels, it could be God, or whatever you think God is. It could be the abstract ideas of beauty, love, truth. This oneness with truth, this oneness with beauty, this oneness with the abstract, that's missing. So if I were to ask you this question now, would you respond? Can you tell me something beautiful here right now? Something that you can identify as beautiful or as beauty. That's a problem. Are you getting this? I am beautiful, Matarala. I am beauty. Now a mystic knows this. A mystic is constantly aware of this. We just have to unlearn this habit. It's a habit. You know, when we were babies, when Lacan talks about the mirror stage, Lacan would say, Lacan talks about the mirror stage, where Lacan says it's only in the mirror stage that the child really understands that he's got a body. Before the mirror stage, the child was one with the mother. The child never thought of itself as an other. The child is, but for the first time the child sees himself or herself in the mirror, that's when the child thinks, oh, I've got a body. I've got a body. So before that, it was this idea of oneness. That's what we talk about here. When we talk about mysticism, and when you are aware that you are beauty. Now, how do we come to that awareness? We'll see. And so in mysticism, all love is directed towards this object, this beauty, this truth. Once somebody asked Blake, who is Jesus? Blake was known to be, believed to be a Christian poet. I would use the word believed to be a Christian poet. Because if you ask some of the church fathers, they wouldn't say Blake was a Christian poet. Because there were a lot of unchristian elements, in Blake. So somebody asked Blake once, do you believe in Jesus? Do you believe in Jesus? And Blake said, of course, he's the only God. Of course, he's the only God. And so am I. And so are you. Blake was. ഈ നോളജ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ശബരിമലയ്ക്ക് പോകുമ്പോൾ ഇത്രയും പാടുപെട്ട് അവിടെ ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ വരേണ്ടിയിരുന്നില്ല. എൻ്റെ കാര്യം തത്വമസി നീയാണ്. So this understanding. So when Blake is asked, do you believe in Jesus? Who is Jesus? And Blake says, oh, he's God, and so am I, and so are you. This is the level of mysticism in which Blake moved, where there is no distinction. That is why I said that this is an idea that the church would not encourage. They would call it as heresy. And so in that sense, Blake was not Christian. He was more Christian than Christians, perhaps. So all love is directed towards this, and there is an effort to grasp this essence constantly. What is it? The question is, what is it? Who am I? And what am I? These are some of the questions that constantly play within the mind of the mystic. They are constantly dissatisfied with the world. They desire for a better world. They believe in this other world existence. Now another question. Do you believe in afterlife? There will be questions. Do you believe in afterlife? ഇതുവരെ എനിക്ക് ഉത്തരവ് അവിടെ നിന്നോട്ട് വന്നില്ല. ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ഉത്തരവ് ഞാൻ തന്നെയാണ്. ഞാനേ ചോദ്യം ഞാനേ ഉത്തരവ്. Do you believe in afterlife? No. Even if you don't believe, you will have an afterlife. No, it's not very spiritual. It is not a very spiritual thing that I said. It's a platitudinous reality. And then what's your name, my child? You responded. What's your name? Divya. Efina. Efina, thank you for this one. Efina said she doesn't believe. Efina, even if you don't believe in afterlife, you will have an afterlife. You know why? After you are gone, Irina and I will talk about Efina. You see, it's gone. So you don't have to believe in an afterlife. It's not very spiritual, is it? This is what we say is afterlife. That's where it starts. Now, what am I trying to say? Spirituality, mysticism. So even if you don't agree, you could be a mystic without your knowledge. Somebody called Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche, a great 19th century philosopher. He made this statement, very revolutionary, radical statement. He said God is dead. Of course, there are commentaries to interpret this statement. He said God is dead. And during the 1960s, when there was this, it was a tumultuous period in Europe, especially 68, 69. There was this student uprising in France and in Europe. Vidyarthiകളുടെ agitation. But there were a lot of graffitis that were written. Graffiti എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ മതിലൊക്കെ എഴുതി. അപ്പോൾ ആരും എഴുതി അധികാരം എല്ലാം തുലഞ്ഞു എന്നുള്ളത് ആരും എഴുതി. Somebody quoted Nietzsche and wrote a graffiti. God is dead. Nietzsche എന്ന് എഴുതി. പിറ്റേന്ന് നമ്മൾ അവിടേക്ക് വന്നപ്പോൾ വേറെ ആരും പോയി തിരുത്തിയിരുന്നു. Nietzsche is dead. God. പിന്നീട് ഇപ്പോൾ ലഖാനോട് പറഞ്ഞു God is dead എന്ന് Nietzsche പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പോൾ ലഖാൻ ചോദിച്ചു, ലഖാൻ asked, does God know that? Does God know that? He's dead? So where do you place yourself in this knowledge? നിങ്ങളെ ഉണ്ടോ? When Karina and I were coming, this was one question that we were trying to negotiate. നിങ്ങളുണ്ടോ? ഞാനുണ്ടോ? ആരാണ് ഈ വണ്ടി ഓടിക്കുന്നത്? She was driving, of course. But then we were trying to understand, what is this existence? So where does this mysticism start? Our friend here, Efrina said she doesn't believe in afterlife, but we know, you and I know, even if she does not believe in afterlife, she will get an afterlife. You better believe it. You're going to get it. But that is not very spiritual. It is a very worldly thing that we talk about. Well, that's the point. The world and the spirit, they are not twain. They are not two different things. One is within the other. And that is why Blake said once, you don't see reality, you only see a model of reality. It is in the model of reality that you have created for yourself that you see reality. And what is this model of reality that Blake has created for himself? Imagination. Imagination. We'll come to that. Imagination is where I am part of the field. Four stages in mysticism. One is, of course, the emotional stage. It's like, that's stage. The second is the intellectual stage. The third one is the active stage. Emotional stage, if you were to find, they are all about love. They are in love with God. Adhyatma prema, Adhyatma pranaya. Saint Teresa of Avila was one such person. Bernard of Clairvaux was another. Indian tradition knowledge about Mira. Ida Govindam, വായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ? പഠിക്കാനുണ്ടോ? Ida Govindam, Adhyatma pranaya. Fragile mysticism എന്നൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് പറയാം. Erotic mysticism. So that's another kind of mysticism. So it's all about love. It's all about love. That's emotional mysticism. And then after this, there is a stage. People like Evelyn Underhill, people who study mysticism, they speak about these different stages. There is a stage of intellectual mysticism. Blake belonged to that period. Intellectual mysticism, where you have to work with your imagination. And then there is the last stage, active mysticism. It's like active mysticism. Have you heard of Jeanne d'Arc? Jeanne d'Arc, the great French fighter. She was a mystic. But she was a politician also, in many ways. So that's another level of mysticism that we talk about. This is even under the base of mysticism, the stages of mysticism. She would say there is the awakening of the mystic. I'm telling you, today, after this lecture, many of you will be awakened as mystics. We're going to do that exercise now. And you will know, oh my God, I was already a mystic and I didn't know. Does God know that? Do you know you are a mystic? We'll come. And then there is purgation. I will not delve much into that. Returning to the sense of the dark night of the soul is waiting for. The dark night of the soul. Panic attack panic attack. It's almost become a cliche. Panic attack. Panic attack. Panic attack. But there is a real panic attack. There is a real thing called depression. That's real. Psychology is but mystics are dark night of the soul. You have to go through it in a way. Dark night of the soul is panic attack. Please don't get me wrong. My point is, my dear friend, what you used to call depression or panic attack or anxiety attack, have you ever thought that perhaps it could be because you're a mystic? How many of you here in this room has at least once in your life made this statement, nobody understands me? Nobody loves me. What's your name? Please. People are watching. Teachers are watching. But you are bold enough. My child, has it ever occurred to you that possibly you could be a mystic? Oh, seriously? Oh my God. What's your name? Anugraha. Okay. We have a mystic already. See, people are discovering themselves. Recreation. Mistakes I don't know what Aluva sir is going to say after I leave. We had a bunch of practical people here now. You've made them all mistakes. Okay, let's stick around. Stick with this. Dark night of the soul. It's probably because you're a mystic that you're going through many of the things that you're going through. Or appeared despite being no Mrs. That's not Mrs. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. Please. So we have to explore these areas, especially the dark night of the soul. Slide. Slide Matanda. Previous slide. Okay. Ini, I want you to do something for me. Can you please close your eyes, everybody? You can trust me and remember your phones are safe, your bags are safe, you are safe, everything is safe. Please can you close your eyes? Everybody, please. Your room. It could be in the hostel, it could be in your workplace, it could be your home. Kando. Very good. Then room kando. Now go to your table. If you have a table there. If you don't have a table there, go to your chair in the room. If you have a chair there. If you don't have a chair there, go to your bed. Bed. Sit. Sit at your table. Sit on your bed. You can feel the touch of the bed, of the chair. If there is a table, place your hands on the table. To place the hands, place your hands on the table. Kayochu, totalla. Ningada room in the manoite. Ningada room in the room. You have that fragrance or smell or whatever. And then your mother is cooking in the kitchen. Sambar on that. Amana varnappa. Meen varka, meen the manam. Kandavutta. അപ്പുറത്തെ വീട്ടിൽ ചേട്ടൻ ഒരു പാട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. പാട്ട് ഇതാണ്, ചിങ്ങമാസം വന്നു ചേർന്ന്. കേട്ടോ ആ പാട്ട്? കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ ആ പാട്ട്? ഇപ്പം ശ്രദ്ധിക്കൂ, കേൾക്കൂ. കേട്ടോ? കേട്ടു. ഇനി ഒരു കാര്യം കൂടെ പറയാം. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആ റൂമിലെ ഏറ്റവും ഫേവറേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം നോക്കൂ. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നോക്കുന്നതല്ല, കേൾക്കുന്നതാണ് ഇഷ്ടമെങ്കിൽ ആ കേൾക്കുന്ന കാര്യം, ആ പാട്ട്, റീറ്റെയിൻ ദാറ്റ് സോങ്. ഇത് രണ്ടുമല്ല, സ്മെല്ലാണ് ഇഷ്ടമെങ്കിൽ റീറ്റെയിൻ ദാറ്റ് സ്മെൽ. ഇതൊന്നുമല്ല, ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ടച്ച് ദാറ്റ് യു ഗെറ്റ്, റീറ്റെയിൻ ദാറ്റ് സെൻസേഷൻ ഓഫ് ടച്ച്. ഐ വിൽ ഗോ വിത്ത് വിഷൻ. എനിക്കിഷ്ടമുള്ളത് നോക്കുക. ഇനി കണ്ണ് തുറക്കുമ്പോഴും അത് തന്നെ കാണും. കണ്ണ് തുറന്നു. റൂമിൽ കണ്ടത് ഇപ്പോൾ കാണാവോ? മനസ്സിൽ കാണാമോ? എന്നെ കാണാം, പക്ഷെ മനസ്സിൽ കാണാമോ? ആ റൂം ഇപ്പോൾ കാണാമോ? യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദാറ്റ് റൂം. യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദാറ്റ് റൂം. എവറിബഡി യെസ്, എന്നെ കാണുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് അറ്റ് ദ സെയിം ടൈം യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദ റൂം ഓൾസോ. യുവർ മിസ്റ്റേക്സ്. ദിസ് ഇസ് വാട്ട് Blake went through all his life. This is called double vision. This is called double vision. This is what Blake saw always. In immoral ജീവിതത്തിൽ, from the age of 4 to the age of 69, there was not one day where he did not have visions, where he did not speak to angels, where he did not communicate with the other world. പക്ഷേ ഇതിനകത്ത് ഒരു 9 എണ്ണം മാത്രം എടുത്ത് ഞാൻ ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്ലൈഡ്. 4 വയസ്സുള്ളപ്പോൾ, when he was 4, he looked out of his window. And you know what he saw? God was pressing against the window. What will you think of your friend if he came and said to you, if she came and said to you, hey, ഞാൻ ദൈവത്തെ കണ്ടു, എൻ്റെ തനിക്കോ നോക്കണ്ടായിരുന്നു, എന്നെ ശുശു എന്ന് വിളിച്ചു. ശുശു എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നോക്കിപ്പോകും. What will you think of that friend? നല്ല ബുദ്ധിയുള്ള മനുഷ്യൻ. What do you think? What would you think? What would you think of me if I said, ഞാൻ എല്ലാ ദിവസവും മെട്രോയിൽ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഏഞ്ചൽസിനെ കാണാറുണ്ട്? You're giving me looks now. So this is how you use your imagination. That's what I'm saying. This guy saw angels. This guy saw God at the age of 4. 8 വയസ്സായപ്പോൾ പറമ്പിലൂടെ പോവുക. He was walking through the fields. And lo and behold, what does he see? He sees a tree. Not just a tree full of angels with wings, with stars. We could understand if he said, I saw a tree full of crows or pigeons or some bird that you find there. But he said, I saw a tree full of angels. ഇതുകൊണ്ട് വീട്ടിൽ ചെന്നു. അപ്പനെ ബുദ്ധി. അപ്പനോട് പറഞ്ഞു, Father, I saw a tree full of angels. Guess what the father did? Velturi adichu. That's when the boy understood, oh, so everybody does not see this. It's only I. You remember the boy from Lakan? Mirror stage. It's only when he sees the mirror that he says, oh, I have a body. I didn't know that. So it took 8 years for this child to realize, oh, so everybody doesn't see this. It's only I. ഞാനേ കണ്ടോളൂ. പിന്നെ പ്രോഫറ്റ് ഇസക്കിയേൽ Ezekiel is actually the book of Ezekiel, a prophet from the Holy Bible. Oh, that guy is, people would think he's crazy. Because one of the visions, Ezekiel vision number, a wheel, and within the wheel there is another wheel, and within that wheel there is another wheel. And there are wheels within the wheels. Can you see that? Please see it. Wheels within the wheels. And then there are eyes on these wheels. So there are eyes and wheels. And this wheel is moving in all directions at once. Okay. This is Ezekiel. And guess what? Blake saw Ezekiel, a prophet who lived in BC. Blake saw Ezekiel coming and talking to him. ഇതൊന്നൊന്നല്ല സോക്രട്ടീസിനെ കണ്ടിരുന്നു ആണ്. He's seen Socrates. We'll come to it. He saw his dead father coming and talking to him, his dead brothers, elves, demons. This was regular for Blake. When people heard all these things, when he grew up, people could not beat him up. അതുകൊണ്ട് ചില ആൾക്കാർ പറഞ്ഞു he used psychedelic drugs. കാരണം there were a lot of magic mushrooms in England. Yeah, you don't know what magic mushroom is. You know? Okay. These drugs that cause this psychedelic experiences. So people said this guy, while he was roaming in the fields, might have eaten magic mushrooms, and so that's why he's having all this. Because it was too weird, it was too crazy. Nobody talks like this. One day he was reading a book, Edward Young's Night Thoughts. You see that? Fifth point, sixth point. So he's reading the book, and then suddenly he hears this voice in his room. This is the voice. Who can paint an angel? So he turns back. He was alone in his room. He hears this voice. Who can paint an angel? He turns back and he sees a bright light. And from that light, he hears the voice again. Michelangelo could. So Blake was still looking at this person, this light, and the light says, I'm Gabriel. Michelangelo drew me. I sat for him as a model. Seriously. You got to be kidding. Blake, I don't like what we do. So Jesus. Oh my God. He's a mistake himself, I know. But he doesn't know. Alright. So I'm giving you a taste of what Blake's world was like. This was a daily reality for him. He would talk, if you were to talk to angels, if you were to talk to Blake, after the talk about the weather and tea, that's what the English will usually talk about, weather and tea. After that, Blake would say, I saw the angel yesterday, he was telling me. And you are like, what does this person say? I had this experience 20 years back, 22 years back. I was talking to an old woman. She must have been in her 70s. I was talking to her. It was her house. I was just talking to her, and suddenly she started saying, Manamkaduvali area. I said, Manamkaduvali area. It's a church in Manargad, near Kotte. Manamkaduvali. It's a famous church. Manamkaduvali Amma, Mary, Pradishta. Pradishta in the sense, it's in her name that the church is. About this woman, 22 years back, she tells me, Manamkaduvali area. I said, yeah, Manamkaduvali. Famous pilgrim center. Yeah. And she said, Abadella area. Maybe other way. And then okay. Yeah, I'm not lying. Please believe me. I'm wearing black, but I am not a liar. She said, and I was for a moment to understand, what do I make of this now? This woman was damn serious. And എൻ്റെ 4 വയസ്സുണ്ട്. ഇവിടെ വരാറുണ്ട്. ഇന്നലെ പോയതേ ഉള്ളൂ. What do you make of this? That woman was not insane. is this? Have you met such people? Don't think they're mad. See, if you think they're mad, you would think Blake was also mad. It's not mad. It's really highly imaginative. Should I controvert? Should I question that lady's experience saying, no, among the when Amma comes from Manargad to your house, who is there in Manargad? Who do people pray to there? This is getting weird now. I was in my 20s. I didn't know what to make of this conversation. But not for one moment did I doubt what the lady was saying. That's her imagination. If only you're willing to be in this state of mind, would you understand Blake? Okay? The last one. Where I put out it is long, but Moses, he saw Moses. Socrates, Julius Caesar. You see, this was, I'll finish this slide and then we'll move into what it means to see a vision. You see, when he was a painter, he was an engraver, more than a poet, he was many other things. Engraving on metal. He was an engraver. So when he used to paint, he said all that he painted and all that he wrote came from his visions. So when Blake painted, he did not look at the model, he looked at the vision that he was seeing. So when his mentor, John Valery, asked him to paint, Blake would just sit there, and if he was asked to paint Moses, this is how he painted Moses. He was asked to paint Moses, and he would sit there and wait for Moses to come and sit on the chair. And so John Valery would also wait for him to come. And then as soon as Moses comes, Blake would say, there he is, now I can start. So we would start. He wouldn't look at a picture of Moses, he would look at the space which was blank for John Valery, but that was Moses. He would look and then he would tell Moses, don't move. And then he would stop in between. And then Blake would tell Moses, you moved, I lost that pose. We need to start again. Give me this pose now. Hold this pose. Who does all these things? This is Blake, my dear friends. If you thought he was simple, he is anything but simple. Slide. What does it mean to see a vision? What does it mean to see a vision? The general understanding that psychologists and scientists and others who studied this, they give us is, it's an eidetic image, eidetic imagery, where you have a vivid picture, that's all. That's what you did. You saw a vision. If I told you you saw a vision 10 minutes back, would you agree? Would you agree? Please agree. That's a vision. Where you saw something that is not here. You heard something that was not played here. You smelled something. You touched. You sat on something. You had all these sensory experiences. And yet you are wary of acknowledging that you just had a vision. This is where it starts. So for Blake himself has said, this is my reality. I am always here. You were just there, when I asked you to be there. Or you would be there when you don't know you are there. And you would think, oh, it's just imagination. That's exactly what we are saying. That's a vision. One kind of vision. Eidetic imagery. When somebody comes, if I tell you I see angels regularly in metro, when I travel in metro I see angels. Would you believe me, Manusa? Would you believe me? You could have two approaches. One, you could say, did you believe the other story that I said? Where I spoke to the lady and she said, Margarama is my sister. Do you believe that? Can you believe me? Or you could say this guy is a liar. Who died? I or the woman? I didn't say one was lying. I'm not lying. It's real. And I believe she was also not lying. Although that is one thing you could say. When people say you are lying, you could say, when people say they saw a vision, you could say, oh, it's just lying. Or you could trust the person, believe what the person is saying. It's a real encounter. Now I want to pause there and ask you this question. You just saw your room, everybody? Yeah? You heard that song, everybody? Yes? My question is, was it a real encounter? Yes or no? Everything depends on your answer. Yes or no? It was real. It was real. The problem is, by real, what you mean is only the thing that you can touch. Oh, but you touched the table. Oh, so by real you mean only what you can smell. Oh, but you smell. Oh, by real what you mean is only what you hear. Oh, what you heard. Oh, by real what you mean is only what you can see before you. You saw it, and even after you opened the eyes, you saw the mic and also the book in the room. Pray tell me, then why is it that you can't accept it as real? We have been brought up on an overdose of rationalism, an overdose of enlightenment thought. That's equality. William James is the guy who spoke about stream of consciousness and all that. No? He says there are 4, in different parts of the world, people have been regularly having these visions and these mystical experiences. Collecting all of it together, he said they can be bracketed under these 4 experiences. These 4 things are common. One, it's ineffable. You don't have words to talk about it. You wouldn't really know what exactly she means by it. The second one is it's noetic. It gives you a revelation. It gives you a knowledge. That's what Blake said. Jesus Christ is the only God. So am I. So are you. It's a knowledge that he gets. It's transient. These deeply mystical experiences, which Blake rarely had, the deep mysticism, which goes into ecstasy. That is transient. Momentum. It lasts for moments. But you can retain the memory of it. And it makes you passive. Now I'm going to, how much time do I have? 10 minutes more? 10 minutes more? Is it 10 minutes more? Because if it's just 10 minutes more, I'll slip. Can I do that? 15 minutes. Okay. Now I want to talk about 4 states of mind that Blake spoke about, which gave rise to this reality of perception that you call vision. There are 4 levels of perception which Blake calls vision. There is the single vision, there is the double vision, there is the threefold vision, there is the fourfold vision. The fourfold vision is that which I spoke about earlier. It's total ecstasy, full mystic. That's a rare phenomenon. What you and I spoke about and what you had earlier was a double vision, which was Blake's reality all through his life. He always saw the extra. That's what we call it. And then there is the single vision and the threefold vision. But before we go into that perception, we will see what enables the mind to get these kinds of visions. This is Blake's idea. There are 4 states of mind. 4 states of mind which will enable you to see these visions or have these perceptions. The first state of mind is called ulro. He calls it ulro. It's very difficult. He uses the word ulro. I got it. Okay. And the second state he calls generation. That we can understand. Generation. The third state he calls Beulah. Okay, Beulah. And the third state he calls eternity. It's these four states of mind that would generate the four perceptions which we call single vision, double vision, threefold vision and fourfold vision. With the use of some paintings, I just want to explain what this Ulro, generation, Beulah and eternity are, and then we will finish. I will not go into the occult scenes. We will finish with the four different kinds of perceptions. It's like this is a very famous painting, very famous. Anybody able to locate, identify that painting? This is big painting. In the Commas, what is it? Divider. Yeah, it's probably something like a divider. Or a measuring, something to measure something. I want you to look at that picture for 1 minute. Please, just that picture. And get as much as you can from it. Whatever. Where is he? Or where is she? Is he sitting inside a ring? What is around it? Is it some kind of a nuclear explosion? What is happening here? Tell me when you're true. Kandamariyam and not Prof. Kandagantana? Katakavidazana. Come. This is actually the Ancient of Days. Ancient of Days, it's a word for God that is used in the book of Daniel in the Bible. The Ancient of Days. Creating the world. But for Blake, this is not just Ancient of Days, he calls it Urizen. He just has his fancies, he calls differently. Where are laws, laws? He just. Something similar to that. Ancient of Days. Why? Because it is feel like Urizen has got its meanings, but this is how we work. So you have to get into his symbolism, his imagery, his language, his imagination. Alright, so this is Ulro. What is Ulro? You can see it there. Where the reason rules. This is a state of mind where there is no imagination. Ulro for Blake is the state of mind where there is no imagination. That is the 3 to 4% of people who I spoke about earlier, which Washington University found out through their research existed in the United States of America. Washington University said 4%, 3 to 4% of people in America, they have no imagination. They just see what is before them, they don't imagine. Absolutely. They don't imagination. But there are people like this. Just the rules, just the law, just reason, that's all. Blake uses a line to describe these people. Where Newton sleeps. Newton sleeps. Newton is still there. Who's Newton? He spoke about all the laws and all of that, the gravitation, and he gave us all the laws. All the laws pertaining to the physical world. So for Ulro, there is only the physical world. What is this? Okay, forget it. What is this? Who am I? A person, a human being or an angel? Why not an angel? Why not an angel? Aren't you able to see an angel as me? Yeah. Please do. I can see angels here. respond to you. I'm finishing in 10 minutes. Don't worry. I want you to respond with yes or no. Have you seen angels? No. Then you will never see angels. Yeah. You will only see angels if you see angels. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇത് മൊബൈലാണെന്ന് എങ്ങനെ മനസ്സിലായി? മൊബൈൽ കണ്ടിട്ട് അതുകൊണ്ട് മൊബൈലാണെന്ന് മനസ്സിലാവും. അത് തന്നെ ഏഞ്ചൽസിനകത്ത് കാണണം. ഏഞ്ചൽസിനെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല, മൊബൈൽ ഏഞ്ചൽസിനെ കണ്ടാലും കാണില്ല. കണ്ടാണ്. I'm linking everything to that one statement that I made from my favorite teacher, KGS. കണ്ടാണ് കടലിത്ര വലുതാവുന്നത്. കാണാൻ പറ്റില്ല. You have to see and then see again. So one more time. Have you seen angels? And if your answer is no, my question is, could it not be that you have seen angels, but since you hadn't seen angels as angels earlier, now that even if you are seeing angels every day, you don't see them as angels, but really you are seeing angels. So you tell me, are you seeing an angel here now? Oh yeah, I know. Are you getting this? If you are not willing, you will never see it. Nammude prashna avade. You are not willing. Be willing. It's a wonderful word. So these people in Ulro, in this mentality, they will only focus on the real. Like you said, you are not ready to use your imagination. You are just willing to look at the physical me and you say it's just you, no angel. You are not willing. Now if I ask you to be willing and see the angel in me, will you see the angel in me? Yes or no? No, please see the angel in me. You should see me and also retain the angel. Can you say that now? Yeah, you can. Can you see my wings? Yeah, you can. She's already seeing it. Oh my God, you are a mystic, my child. There are mystics here. Yeah, you always knew I was an angel. Yes, sir. I am not guilty. He was already one. he was already. Thank you, my son. What's your name? Fawaz. You are seeing a soul. It's brilliant. Seriously. Are you there? Everyone? Are you getting this? This is making sense at all. Yes. You will see an angel. You will see a vision only if you are willing to see one. Otherwise, my dear friends, you will live without seeing angels. You will also die without seeing them. And then you will go there. Even if you don't want to go there, you will go there. And then you will see angels there. And then you will know, am I really in the world now? Because all the angels that you had seen and hadn't recognized here are there. It's the same people. And you have this confusion. Everywhere is the same place. Okay, so this is the second vision. Now we are still the first one. The first Ulro state of mind will only see the real things, the so-called measurable things, the totalized forms. Well, they will tell you this is it and you will agree this is it. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. That is in mathematics. For us literature people, 1 plus 1 is equal to Olivia. A bigger one. You need imagination for that. Many billion. So Ulro is for the measurements. Everything is measured. Everything is decided. I'm just using an example. Okay. This is not what the painting means, but this painting can tell you what it is about. It's about measurements. Everything is clear. When does the class start here? From today onwards. 9:30. It's measured. It's decided. You can't imagine it to be at 10 o'clock. You can imagine, but you face the consequences. All mistakes have faced consequences. So that's one. Number 2. Next slide. This is Newton. He's measuring a map there. This is the Ulro world, the real world. The real world is not even the real world for it. It's the map. He's too focused on the map, measuring everything. എല്ലാം കൃത്യമായിട്ട്. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ കണ്ടില്ലേ, പെർഫെക്ഷനിസ്റ്റാണ്, എല്ലാം കൃത്യമാണ്. എത്ര മണിക്ക് പല്ല് തേക്കും? 5:55 പല്ല് തേക്കും, 5:58 വരെ പല്ല് തേക്കും. 6 മണിയാകുമ്പോൾ പോകാൻ കഴിയും. There are such people. If you've seen the movie 24 that's called OCD. This is what the real world is about. This is what Ulva is about. It's about the real. They will not go any further. Slide. This is generation. This is the mentality for double vision, where you reproduce. കടൽ എവിടെയുള്ള ഒരു സി കടൽ എവിടെയാണ്, പക്ഷെ കടൽ എവിടെയുണ്ട്? നീ കാണുന്ന യു റീപ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ദ കടൽ. കണ്ടാണ് കടൽ ഇത്ര വലുതാണ്. There is more to കടൽ than the sea. There is more to the sea than to the sea. That's how you saw the angel wings. That's how our friend there saw the soul, saw my soul. Because he knew there is more to me than this black dress and this grey features. There is more to me than that. That is why I see angels every day on metro. I choose to see them. That is why that Amaji 20 years back understood that Mother Mary in Madargadapalli was her younger sister. There is more to Mother Mary than this image. I am also part of that Mother Mary. It's that idea, that mentality of generation. What do you generate from what you have? That's the question. What you have is me right before you, but what do you generate from me? That creates the mind for the double vision. It will happen only if you are willing. This is lost figure. This is loss. Loss is worshipping sun. You know why? Because for loss, sun is not helium or anything. Sun is not the sun. There is more to the sun than the sun itself. That is why he worships the sun. നമ്മൾ ആരുടെയും ഒരാളുടെ കാലിൽ ഒന്നറിയാതെ ചവിട്ടുകയോ തട്ടുകയോ ചെയ്താൽ അടുത്തെന്താ ചെയ്യുക? ഇംഗ്ലീഷുകാർ സോറി പറയും, നമ്മളെന്താ ചെയ്യുക? തൊട്ട് വേണം. എന്താ ചെയ്യുക? I recognize the divinity in you. That is also in me. I recognize it. I didn't mean to insult. There is no insult. I recognize. So that's loss. Next slide. Generation. Next slide. Then the sun. Again, Blake's painting. This is from the Bible. This is called Nebuchadnezzar. Or D or missing. He was a king of Babylon. There was a time in his life where he became a beast. And Blake is imagining it. Do you really know what it means? This is the mentality for double vision. When you see a man, you also see a beast. You saw the angel in me. Don't see the beast in me. See the angel in me. What more do you see? Rose, please. See the angel. Dr. Rose. See the angel in you. But I take the liberty to see the beast in you. If I do, you could do that. This is the king, for God's sake. This is the king. So next time you go to the HOD's table, somebody is saying, oh, she's already the beast. Oh, she's an angel, I know. Are you getting this idea? What more are you willing to make of it? What are you going to reproduce out of it? You must be willing. Try this. That's the beginning of your visions. And that's all that Blake had all his life, barring those few occasions where he went into full ecstasy. This is all that he had. You want to be Blakean, a full-grown Blakean? Remain here. Next. The fourth stage is Beulah. This is a stage of relationships. The first one was the stage of reason. The second is the stage of reproduction. This is the stage of relationship. So this is the question that in the state of mind that you ask. Okay, I see the extra, I reproduce the extra in what I see, and then what relationship do I maintain with that what I see? അതാണ് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ചെയ്തത്. എൻ്റെ ആരാണ് കൃത്യം 4 വയസ്സ് അടുത്തുള്ള അനിയത്തിയാണ്. അവളെന്ന് വിളിക്കാമോ അല്ലേ? റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ് ആയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു ക്യാൻ കോൾ മണക്കാട്ടെ അമ്മയെ എന്ന് വിളിക്കാം. ഓളെൻ്റെ പെങ്ങളാന്നേ. What relationship do you maintain with it? Are you with me? Yes or no? I'm finishing. So once you see the extra, the excess, Lacan would call it the excess. Once you see that, you will see that only if you're willing to see it. Once you see that, that is the stage in which Blake was always. Blake would form a relationship. That is how he would be able to tell Moses, Moses, he would be able to tell Socrates, sit still. Because of Beulah, he sees the extra there, and then he forms a relationship with that. And from there, I'm skipping a lot of things. Mind that thing. From I-it relationship, it moves into I-thou relationship. I-thou. What extra do you see in me? And how do you form a relationship with that? What's your name once again? You saw the soul in me. I'm so grateful. I was doubting myself. Praise the Lord. Yeah, you tell me, what is your name? Fawaz. Thank you, Fawaz. Fawaz. He formed a relationship with my soul. That is why he had to stand up. I'm a very shy person. But he had to stand up because there was a relationship already formed. Fawaz had already formed a relationship. How many of you have formed a relationship with the extra in me? I've already formed a relationship with the extra in me. That's Beulah. It changes you. The last stage is eternity. That's full-blown mysticism. You go into ecstasy. You don't want to go there always, because that will go into teleportation. You know what teleportation is? You will go to other places. That's what that Amachi, I told you that Amachi said. Double up. Bilocation, trilocation. I sometimes tell my friends, I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I can bilocate. Look at that picture next slide. This is when Blake painting the death of an old man in 5 minutes. I'm good. Death of an old man. He's going. Which is the guy? The one who is going or the one who is here? When you are bilocating, where are you? Where am I now? There. That's good answer. That's a good answer. I'm there where I am. I'm there where I am. It's simple. This is imagination. But there is ecstasy as well. Look at the next slide. This is a sea of time and space. Another painting by the next slide. Oh. This is actually a forest where time and space are crunched. Everything runs into everything else. You don't know what is what and who is who and how is how and when is when and where is where. Everything is here. Everybody is here. Anand, famous novelist. Anandinte ഒരു പുസ്തകം നോവലിൻ്റെ പേര് അപഹരിക്കപ്പെട്ട ദൈവങ്ങളാണ്. അതിനകത്തൊരു ബ്രില്യൻ വരിയുണ്ട്. ഇങ്ങനെയാണ്: എല്ലാവരും അവിടവിടങ്ങളിലായി ഇവിടൊക്കെ തന്നെ. എല്ലാവരും അവിടവിടങ്ങളിലായിട്ട് ഇവിടെ തന്നെയുണ്ട്. അതായത് ഈ കുട്ടി നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞത് വേറമായി ചോദിച്ചപ്പോഴേ യു ആർ ദേർ. യു ആർ ദേർ. വെൽക്കം ടു ദ Blakean world of imagination, visions. You are already visionaries. I just helped you to discover the visionary and the mystic potentialities that you already hold within you. So I finished with the last slide. I will not go into it. This time's up. Maybe in discussion we'll take it up. Next slide. Can we have the next slide? Please take this down. ഇതിൽ എവിടെ നമ്മളുള്ളത് double vision. That's the possibility where we could be double vision. Where there is the duality of the physical and the mental. I've quoted a few lines from Blake in Fourfold Vision. Did you see the line? Newton's sleep, that is first vision. Just the physical thing. Newton's sleep, that's first vision. Twofold vision is what you should keep. Blake elsewhere says, I am always there, I am always in the twofold vision. And from there he goes into Beulah, the threefold, where he forms a relationship with what he sees. Imaginary friends എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു കാലഘട്ടം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു പണ്ട്, where you had imaginary friends. കരിക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ സീരീസിലാണ്. അതുപോലൊരു സീരീസാണ്. വേറൊരു 3 ആളെ പേര് ഞാൻ മറന്നുപോയി. അപ്പോൾ these 3 friends, they are talking. What are they talking? They're talking, they're sharing with each other what they discuss with their lady loves. എന്തൊക്കെ ഇത്ര പറയാനുള്ളൂ? One guy says, we talk about our children. അപ്പോൾ one guy says, എൻ്റെ കുട്ടി എൻ്റെ സ്കൂളിലാണ് ചേർത്തേക്കും. അപ്പോൾ the other guy says, അവിടെ ഭയങ്കര ഫീസാണ്, ഇങ്ങോട്ട് മാറ്റിക്കോ. മാറ്റാം. Which is that? You know the name? മാറ്റാം. That's the word. They constantly moving. നമുക്ക് തമാശയാണ്. That's the Blakean word. Last. Did you take down the four different forms of vision? This is the last slide. I will read the 5th point. Psychologists call this flow. You need to have a self-annihilation for you to remain in this world of visions. What is a self-annihilation? Not destroying your physical self, but you are so focused on something that you forget you are. നീ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് തന്നെ മറന്നു പോകുന്ന ആ അവസ്ഥ. ചിലപ്പോൾ ചില പാട്ട് കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ you will lose. Athletes constantly have this. Psychologists call this flow. Blake was in this flow, constantly in this double vision. Did you see that discourse, imagination, language, word making? Yeah, I will stop with that. So Blake had this discourse of imagination. Michel Foucault would say, you create the world with your discourses. And കഴിഞ്ഞ പറഞ്ഞാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു, ഇതാണ് നമ്മുടെ പറയുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ സാധാരണ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഡിസ്കോഴ്സാണ്. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That's a discourse to make the sun real to you. But the sun neither rises nor sets. We know that. But without the discourse of the sun rising, of the rising sun and the setting sun, you can't relate to sun. That is imagination. Foucault would call it discourse. Blake would call it imagination. I want to welcome you all into this world of imagination. Thank you for having me. It was a joy to be amongst visionaries and mystics. I hope you've discovered yourself. Thank you very much. I have 7 slides more. I've cut it short. Maybe we'll take it up for discussion.
Thank you, sir, for your